enough to save the game. But we might actually head into the draft in just a little bit, and just like that, it is going to be AP BREN on the blue side, and immediately we already see bans coming through here for AP BREN. It's actually centered towards the Roam and XP lane. The Ruby and the Arlot going to be taken out here.
Yeah, and then for the homeboys, they're going to go for the same things they went with the last game. We got the Fanny and the CC taken out there. Interesting. I do like, and it's interesting to see the priority that AP BREN puts onto the. I mean, all teams basically right now have been putting on to Arlot. Even with the recent nerfs he got, still kind of a powerhouse when it comes to that roam position, the tankiness, and the setting potential of that final slash that really just works as like a repositioning tool for the or against the enemy there. So I mean, a very interesting thing here. You were talking about the priority that AP might be putting onto this Nolan, unless we see maybe homeboys might want to take that off the board.
Yeah, it's actually going to be still the fair miss that was banned out away also earlier in game number 1, which is really good for team fights because it seems like both of these teams are so good at that. Like having that fair miss, even up until now, like with the adjustments on the fair miss, it is almost all the time good when you have that Netherrealm up. It keeps everyone alive, pretty much like the Estes. The Homeboys has one final ban here. I'm thinking, will AP BREN actually go for like a Nolan here for their first pick? Or maybe possibly... Oh, okay,
Nope.
speaking of the Nolan, yeah, I just kind of called it out and Homeboys is like, yeah, I heard you, Burger King. We're going to be banning it away. So this leaves AP BREN with the Matilda, which is actually opened up here for the first phase. They can actually pick it up. It's a very safe pick, I would say. Or maybe they can prioritize other things, maybe the Claude or... whatnot, but yeah, it's gonna be the Matilda being picked up here. So Homeboys actually let that slide. They can actually answer it out by either picking up a Claude, or will they go for their Roamer here for their first 2 picks because they already have a Matilda here.
I mean, if we're talking stats wise, just talking pure numbers, I mean, Claude would probably be the safest bet for who's been a 100% win rate here. Two characters that are open. We see there the Gwen, the Matildas out there. Oh, first time to see the Barats. We've been talking about it, but we haven't seen it just yet in the meta. Very tanky now, especially when it comes to some of the item changes that are out there to be able to support him with that tankiness. Especially taking it, I feel like this was kind of taken away just in case AP BREN wanted to use that combination of the Matilda and Barats, because she really covers down for, I want to say, the slowness that he has to be able to kind of help him with that guiding wind to get him around the map there. So it could be very interesting picks. It's the first time that we've seen some of these characters picked up, as most have been on the bans and some haven't been picked yet.
Yeah, the Barats. First time we're gonna be seeing it. Actually, this is good for the apart from the Matilda, right? Like a good combo with the Guinevere is someone to actually tank up the front line so that the Guinevere can actually properly set things up. So I believe this might actually go to Sorn. Not unless they want to change their lineup. We'll finally find out the overall picture later on, but AP BREN answers it out immediately with the carry. Usually the answer to tanky heroes like the Fredrin and the Barretts, and they add up the X-Borg here. I'm still not sure if this is going to be a Flap TZ hero or maybe, a little bit throwback to the X-Borg in the jungler position, but this might actually be in the XP lane. One of the a really solid picks in the XP lane that can really stand alone. And at the same time, Homeboys has this final pick. Will they go for their mid lane already, since they might actually go for perhaps the I was thinking something along the lines of the Novaria, but they seem to prioritize this Valentina, so to pick up the ultimates here like the Last Insanity and even the Guiding Wind here of the Circling Eagle rather of the Matilda.
Yeah, I want to say, like, while the Circling Eagle is can have its place in a lot of these compositions and its threats, I feel like Matilda's real shining point comes with that Guiding Winds and having the Flask of the Oasis, which gives you that added shield every single time like one of your players is in range, and it really upgrades the, I want to say, the how much damage that your team can take during these fights. So while I do like the pick for Valentina to be able to take away some of these ultimates, I want to say it won't really capture what makes the Matilda pick so dangerous and sustainable during a lot of these fights. It's going to be very interesting here too, because you've got the X-Borg, the carry, you were talking about it. Those are the prime picks, the true damage that they can do, the prime picks to take down the tanky heroes like the Barats. And it's the same thing if possibly this Gwen decides to go with a tanky build as well. We do...
Yeah,
Odette.
I was waiting for you to see that ban coming out from Homeboys, because you were talking about how deadly the Matilda was. And actually, I've seen this in a couple of content creators' videos. Is that they get the circling the circling eagle, and then you combine it with the Odette Swan Song. So that is a lot of damage, and at the same time, the mobility it provides for AP. And AP BREN is known for using this Odette for the very first time in M5 World Championship. So I am not surprised that that came out from the Homeboy. So this leaves few either with, if they want the vision on the bushes, right? Because the Guinevere can actually set up the play from the bushes. They can still go for the Novaria with the protection here of the Matilda. That can still be a pickup for few. Or at the same time, they might actually pick up someone on the mid lane like a Lilia to actually just not give the Valentina a lot more ultimates to pick up. That's usually the answer. Or maybe perhaps the Valir would be a good pick too in the mid lane. Like it really slows down the Barats, and it also kind of nullifies the ultimate of the Valentina here.
So at mid lane, I think it depends on what they're, if they're looking toward the meta. I mean, we still got Aurora out there. I mean, we didn't really find too much success with it in game one of our last series, and then I feel like the teams kind of distanced themselves from that pick, went for the Vexana, the Odette as well. So I'm very interested to see where the Nana still out there as well. Maybe we have our first Nana
just
game
putting
here.
it out there. Actually, I think it might be, AP BREN might actually double think of like picking up that Nana actually, because they still have that Valentina to consider. It can actually be a menace to the Barretts or maybe even the Valentina in the mid lane, but I'm still thinking something along the lines of a Lilia or perhaps like a Valir in the mid lane that can really make it hard here for either the first three picks here of the Homeboys. And Nets still goes for that Harriet that actually did pretty well in game number 1, but at the same time it wasn't able to scale up as well as the Cloud of Super Marco did. So, but you know what? It's a carry up against the Harriet. This can definitely pressure the carry in the early game, right? With the advantage it does.
There it is.
Yeah, I think we have to keep on tossing these things so that they bring it out. So what do you want to see from... Okay, yeah, they already pick it up. What do you want to see from the Homeboys then? What do you want to see from the Homeboys?
I'm the monster, the threat, the menace that people have yet to see in that Nana that has been picked out here. I'm very it's used to be one of those picks that was just one of those cutesy picks that people never really paid attention to. Now with the recent changes, she can chain her skills together now. The Molina hits more than one person on impact, like as soon as it lands. So it's basically like a Molina grenade that she can toss out there, and then she can collect that together with that Molina Blitz ultimates very quickly. So you don't even have time to react. But as soon as you realize you're transformed, there's already an ultimate coming down, bouncing its way towards you and your team. And a Hellcurt. We haven't seen a Hellcurt in a good hot minute.
Okay, wait. Is this a Barrett's XP lane? I feel like this is kind of like a spur of a moment.
In the XP lane, or do you have Gwen as a tank in the roam position? We're about to find out, I guess, where this comes into play. So many different changes that we've been seeing here that are just kind of head scratching. But we're going to be moving on to game 2 to see if Homeboys can take this to a game 3 against AP BREN.
Okay, so it is... Yes, I am right. It is a Barretts in the XP lane, but boy, that is not going to be good up against the X-Warrior. It's just going to be roasting you in your lane. So it's going to be easy. Not unless you are able to move forward, get those stacks. And at this point, right, Sapat hasn't been able to get those stacks up just yet. And looking at this, it is Soren on the Guinevere. So this is for Homeboys to actually have that set up. And I think, that final pick actually kind of made us scratch our heads and say, okay, where is everybody going to be placed at? So far, AP BREN doing really well here in the gold lane, still able to keep it up here with Nets. But Flapteasy is going to be the one prioritized here by Homeboys.
Yeah, and he's going to go. They already burst down that armor, but still putting on those stacks. Here comes the darkness. Dark Knight falls. Flapteezy still survives. Chibi almost got caught there, but here on the side, Kyle Teasy finds a kill onto Zorn and going to go ahead and disappear. That's going to be first blood for AP BREN.
Wow, did you see the flicker out from Flapteezy? He actually flickered out when Chibi was actually gonna go in for the for the ultimate there, like that Dark Knight falls, and he's like, okay, I feel like I can still sustain this, and you know, with the chemistry that AP BREN has, they had that backup. Kaltizi was able to pick up that first kill. Overall, AP BREN is just winning it so far here, and they're prepared to take on to Homebois. Let's see if Homebois can actually go in for a steal here, because you still have that Dark Knight Falls to actually steal in the objective here. Kaltizi going to be working up this first turtle. Sword does not have that ultimate just yet, so AP BREN can take this without any contest, not unless Chibi comes in.
Yeah, Chibi comes in, Dark Knight Falls is out, but he gets slowed down. Ogwin was right there waiting for him to come in. As soon as the Dark Knight Falls went in, he got put down. Zorn looking for an escape is going to use that flicker to get himself away.
Yeah, the nice zoning too there by AP BREN. They actually camped out in that tiny bush over there, so to give vision towards AP BREN. Super Marco, though, it's a different story here on the bottom side. We did mention that the carry is going to have a hard time up against this Harriet that has a little bit more advantage when it comes to the range. As you can see, Owen already rotating towards this bottom side to give a little bit more of that assistance to Marco.
Yeah, and I want to say a good read by Nets right now. He smells something in the water. He's just like, okay, something's up down here. I know there's got to be Ogwin must be near. Oh, they do actually catch him. The Zaman Force is out, trying to help Super Marco. He does catch a kill. Ogwin unable to help and has to watch his teammate go down. It is now tied 1-1 for Homebois and AP BREN.
Yeah, the thing here about Homebois is that they understand that the fact that Nets can actually pretty much pressure Super Marco on his lane. That's why you see the rotations mostly going towards the XP here. As Flapteezy gonna get pressured on. He's gonna pop in that last instant and he actually gets a pot. And this is what I was saying, right? The Barretts does not have that much mobility, plus the fact that it only has to flicker out. So up against the export, it's not really gonna be that good when it comes to the laning phase.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate when you're trying. Oh, Chibi might be getting caught here. Use his flicker. Here comes the Dark Knight Falls is out. We do have a pop up there on the Kyle Teasy looking for the damage. Zaman Force laid down, so he's crawling away. And Matilda able to use that ability to get him out of harm's way, but he still goes down. You can see the value coming. Flapteezy with the flicker. Udil takes a whole heap of damage, and Nom Nom's first a pat able to eat up Flapteezy, and they're going to claim a kill. 3-3 apiece here.
Yeah, the side of Homebois was able to get in some of the trade-offs, and with that pick off onto Kyle Teasy, Homebois going to be able to take this one in. Unless there's going to be any contest. The turtle, okay, going to be taken in by the Homebois, and this time they actually kind of clap back here up against the side of AP BREN.
Ooh, a Nets and a Zorn looking to put the damage on. We do have a Violet Requiem on the Kyle Teasy, but I mean, that's a big tanky boy in that box here. Now here comes the rest of the team trying to chase down Ogwen and Kyle Teasy, but they're going to go ahead and use that guiding wind to get themselves to safety.
Okay, so Pat also actually moved down towards this bottom side, actually sharing a little bit of those gold creeps with Nets. So let's see if that will actually make much of a difference here, because so far it is fine, because Nets is actually winning in the lane. They might actually go in for the switch right now, just as it hits the 5-minute mark to be able to get in at least some trade. Sword though tries to go in for Flapteezy. He's a little bit tanky. Let's see if Homebois can actually take him down.
Yeah, they do land a pop-up. Flapteezy might be in a little bit of trouble here. Udil finding the kill there as well. Bringing him up. Homeboy is now up 1 kill to AP BREN right now. Gold pretty much tied for both of them right now. Still looking at especially the advantage. AP BREN has the advantage with the towers and the advantage for kills going to Homeboys.
Yeah, it's funny too, like I only noticed that right now. You were so busy thinking about where these heroes are going to be going in for Homebois. I actually didn't notice that it is a 3-man Purify here for AP BREN just to cancel out the setups here coming out from Zorn. So I think here for the Homeboys is they have to make sure that all these damage dealers, if they don't have that Purify, it is the time to go up for the setup or maybe waste out those Purifies before those big clashes. But so far, Homeboys right now, they are, at least they've traded in the towers after taking in that second turtle of the game.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, I do like that Sapat's kind of rotating around now. He's able, outside of the laning start of this game, I mean, the laning he was going to have the biggest problem because his whole kit is based on being able to kind of kick and maintain his stacks. Now we're starting up on the turtle. We're about half health right now. You can see Flap TZ. Oh, Nets actually might be in trouble. Zaman Force has been dropped, but he gets taken down quickly by the Nana. This is going to leave it open for Chibi to take the turtle. Last Insanity is out looking for Zorn. Puts on the damage. That might... Nope. We're going to be able to use that dash to get away. So, I mean, you get a kill, but Homeboys able to get themselves another turtle. While you see now the pressure with the numbers in their favor. AP BREN now starting to put some pressure onto the mid lane, but decide against pressing their advantage.
Yeah, the thing here about Homeboys and AP BREN in that final turtle crash here. Oh, although Flap TZ here. Gonna be going up with some deal once again. They've been going at it ever since game number 1, though. They've been able to survive, but yeah, just as I was saying, you know, AP BREN kind of understood that the Homeboys had the prime position there. They were able to take the turtle, so they went for Nets instead. Pressure the gold lane for the turtle take. So still some nice trade-offs there across the board for AP BREN. And looking at the gold lead here, it is going to be Homeboys leading by 1k just because of the fact that they actually took in at least 2 turtles for this game. But AP BREN still leading in terms of control over the map. They've taken in 2 of the towers 50 seconds before the first Lord is up. And I think Homeboys, if they want to create some pressure, they can actually take in this Lord. They do have the Dark Knight Pulse.
Yeah, and that's going to prove vital when it comes to the last seconds of trying to take this Lord. If they can kind of maintain their space in there. You've got Sapat who can kind of tank a lot of the damage, who's going to be able to sit in the Lord pit and really kind of like claim it. Whereas Chibi's going to have to really be very careful about when he comes in to try to get those needles in or to get that Dark Knight Falls, to get that retribution onto it. We do see the Kyle TZ closing distance here. But Zorn going to go ahead, dive himself to safety.
Yep, 15 seconds. I think everybody here for AP BREN, they're doing their best to poke Homeboys here so that they try to go back to their base, heal up that HP before this first major objective. Zorn is also looking for someone to take down with the setups that the Guinevere has, but it's not going to be easy. 3 Purifies here that haven't been used just yet. And so far, the pressure is going to be on to the mid lane. Okay, Super Marco and Owen, though.
Yeah, speaking of the Purifies, we do have a Daytona's Welcome that lands on to Super Marco. Nets able to find the kill there. That is going to be 1 down for AP BREN. They're looking immediately to go for this Lord right after they get that kill. The focus on them is remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, Marco was isolated there. He was with Owen that was trying to get him to safety. But Zorn, they had that Purify up. But the rest of Homeboys was just working on them. They get in this first Lord of the game.
Yeah, and now we have the Zaman Force laid out there. Still Nets in trouble on this side. Gets taken out by Ogwen, and they're going to be able to get Flap TZ to safety. They do get the Lord. They lose 1 in the process in the ensuing fight of it. But I want to say, I mean, Homeboy's doing a good job of being able to waste out these Purifies. You're going to have the Violet Requiem coming out from Zorn, and then Sapat is right there behind to scoop them up with that Daytona's Welcome.
Yeah, bottom side too, like Homeboys is doing their best to pressure it out and at least capitalize this lead that they have up against AP BREN by at least taking in the outer turrets here and maybe going in for the second. It's a relatively low kill count here for both sides, right? Like both are trying to take in as much objectives as they can. Kyle TZ going to be working up this purple buff, but it seems like the target all the time will be Flap TZ that is able to soak up all of the damage here.
And that's Zorn going ahead and lands onto Flapteasy, but Flapteasy able to get away there. I don't think he had the Violet Requiem. Here comes a circling eagle onto Udil. He decides, Alguin decides against continuing it and getting the pop up there. AP BREN able to very quickly take down this Lord, a non-luminous Lord there, but I want to say it might be a little bit harder once we move on to these next ones.
Yeah, Flapteasy right now, he is been the one frontlining apart from Kalteasy. What's making it really hard here too is that most of the time, right, like the Zorn's pickoffs here onto either Super Marco or Few, right? That you do have the guiding wind or the guiding wind out, but sometimes it's not enough once you get surrounded here by Homeboys. You still got the Detona Swell coming out from Sepat, so there is a lot of things to consider here for AP BREN. Fortunately enough, the Golding is not that far. Perhaps like either they take down Chibi before the Lord comes up, or maybe even try to get a singular pick off here. But here comes Zorn.
Yeah, we do have a pop-up there on the Flapteasy. He gets terrified away, has no more armor, is going to have to back up. KyleTZ in a little bit of trouble, has activated that Tortoise Puissance, trying, you see the trail as he tries to run away. Dark Knight Falls is out, big pop-up lands, but the Purify is out. Zorn in trouble, gets taken down by Flapteasy. Kyle Chibi gets taken down by Super Marco. Now Nets in trouble, trying to dance his way around this. Is he going to be able to? Finds the kill onto Super Marco, while Flapteasy trying to flame him for his troubles. Oh, we have a Daytona's Welcome, which lands. Are they going to be able to put the damage onto him? He does. He still has that immortality out. Down comes the Zaman Force. Nets trying to chase down the kill, decides against continuing it and backs up.
Yeah, 2 for the price of 1. Super Marco activated that Purify, and by the time he went up against Nets, he was just dancing around. And taking a look at the items here, he has picked up the Corrosion Sight and the Golden Staff. Maybe perhaps going in for the Demon Hunter Sword as this next item. The gold lane is going to go to Nets when it comes to the gold lane. 8,000 for him, and Super Marco is still behind by 1,000. 35,000 for the Homeboys. They're looking to take in this Lord. Let's see if they might manage to get in a pick-off. Sword's already setting something up there up top. He does not have the conceal though.
Yeah, so he's waiting. We're at the Lord, just down to about 10%. Looking for a bait. I think Homeboys are very confident in their ability to team fight this, so they're kind of very slow playing this Lord. They're dragging it out. They want to know where AP BREN is on the map right now. But as they're doing that, as they're kind of slow playing it, they've got minions starting to make their way towards their towers. Lord pulled out again and goes ahead and gets reset. Probably a very frustrating day for the Lord here. Doesn't know if they want to fight, doesn't know if they want to leave them alone. They're coming back and forth. You can see now Flapteasy and AP BREN starting to put the damage onto the Lord at about half health right now. Still looking for the opportunity. Chibi, it gets dragged out again. They're dancing around this, and nobody, each team looking for the first one to make a mistake. Ooh, Deal goes in a little bit close. Here comes the circling eagle, taking with him Flapteasy into the back lines, but be careful, they all reset back on the map. Half health for this Lord.
Yeah, even the Lord's getting confused. Oh, Few will pick up the Chibi. It's massive. And that's it. AP BREN can just go for this Lord, and that is going to be it. Few's like, it's over. We're just going to be taking this in. I take down Chibi. I take in this Lord, and AP BREN bounces back in just like that in the 14-minute mark.
When it comes to plays like that where both teams are jockeying for position, slow playing the Lord, it's always comes down to the first one to make a mistake or the first team to create it. And you saw it there with Few on the Nana, able to find Chibi, and then the rest of the team absolutely jumped on the opportunity. Now, Homeboys are facing a Luminous Lord heading down the bottom lane, while I'm sure we're probably going to see AP BREN trying to exert some pressure onto these the top and mid lane.
Oh, that's interesting. Owen just picked up the Bloodwings here just to add up to that additional magic damage and the shields. The bottom lane is bare though. They can just, the Lord can just go straight in for the base as AP BREN is going to be forcing out the fight here. Chibi is down. As Homeboys, one member down as the Lord's going to be knocking in their base.
Yeah, already at the core right now. They have to have an answer for it. Unfortunately, Chibi a little late with that Dark Knight Falls. Still gets caught by Super Marco. A little bit
Damage.
slower of a game. We talked about it not matching up in the mid game. We do have a Last Insanity out. Udil is backing off. Super Marco puts the finishing touches on that mid tower. Now we are at the core. Just one more. Well, actually, we have 2 towers up at the top. A high ground and the tier 2.
There it goes.
Finds the mid. We only have one more high ground. Is Homeboys going to be able to stop this Last Insanity to try to zone them out? Super Marco puts the finishing touches on the high ground, and they all decide against pursuing this any further. They got one more Lord, and it does look like Homeboys might be at the last minutes of their game.
Yeah, 4K instantly went back to AP BREN just like that after that pick off by few onto Chibi, right? And this is what we were saying about the Nana. It can instantly burst you down like that. Once you get caught into, you get that Molina, and then the Nana pops in, that Molina Blitz, you can just one-hit delete. Like, even the tankiest heroes in the game is already taking up so much damage from that Nana, but it seems like AP BREN, they might actually just commit for this. KAZAN is gonna go in.
Yeah, we have the Daytona's welcome, followed by the Dark Knight Fall. Still looking at who's going to be able to come out on top. Zaman Force has been released. Few finds a kill on to Zorn, and this might be a wrap. Super Marco is down 2 as well, though. You can see Cpot in the back. He might not want to be part of this fight. 2 down for Homeboys as AP BREN looking to press their advantage, and that is going to be very enticing, especially with only 10 seconds left on this Lord.
Okay, Nets actually forced the back away, trying to get in that purple buff. Homeboys has to check their base too, because they don't have any of these inhibitors. And AP BREN, they have that map control, they have that gold lead, and at the same time, the numbers advantages are towards their side. Actually, Few landed in that nice Molina Blitz once again to be able to take down 2 members of Homeboys. And with the safety of that guiding wind from Owen, it's just able to, you know, let AP BREN evade these clashes that they don't want to happen.
Flapteezy goes in. He does get caught up and popped up. Nets is going to find a kill onto Flapteezy. Ogwin able to get away with like 1 health point to his name, but now Homeboy is going to be dealing with a Luminous Lord coming down through mid lane. As we take a look at this highlight, King.
Yeah, let's the Last Insanity being popped there by Flapteezy. Actually, I think he thought he could have at least taken down Sepat there or Udil, but at the same time, Homeboys had that answer with Zorn. He was punished at that point, and AP BREN said, okay, let's stop at that. Let's not go for more. And they just went in and went back, because if they actually pushed in for more, Homeboys could have actually punished AP BREN at that point. So 18 minutes in, it is actually still AP BREN in the lead right now. 2K for his side, 9 turrets in. This last Lord could actually seal the deal for Homeboys if they manage to... sorry, could be the deal here for AP BREN if they manage to steal in this Lord.
Yeah, and right now, I think the focus should be on a Few who's 3-0-4. We do have the Dark Knight Falls starting to close the distance. Is the Matilda comes in there. Immortality has been activated, but Ogwin very wisely using that guiding wind to get out of harm's way. KaZan checks a bush, does get popped up by Zorn, who decides not to put on the Violet Requiem. The rest of AP BREN in the midst of this purple buff, forcing out Homeboys. They say this is their jungle now.
Yeah, the thing is, KaZan is not going to be easy to take down here, right? Pretty much like the Fredrin, once it gets the items here, it can pretty much counter out. If I'm not mistaken, I saw a Radiant Armor being picked up there by KaZan, and the Guardian's Helmet to add up to this innate tankiness already. 60 seconds in, I think for the Homeboys here, you know, a setup here for Zorn, but it's not going to be easy. Everybody still has their Purify up. Plus, they have to deal with the insane burst that Few has and the outs that they can actually do in the clashes with Ogwen's Guiding Wind.
Yeah, so much burst on their side, and it just takes one mistake. Like I said, all you were talking about it, all Few needs to do, land one ability, and it's over for at least one member of the Homeboys. And then that is just quite an amount of damage and quite a lot of frustration and pressure on a team where you're looking to try to be patient, you're looking to kind of to try to look for an opening against a team like AP BREN, and now 18 seconds left on the next Lord.
Yeah, 20 minutes in. I think at this point, everybody pretty much has the items that they need to have. It's all about the execution. It's all about the decision making between these two teams. One mistake, again, could actually turn this entire thing around. So everybody's going to have to be extra careful here. We see the Necklace of Durance being purchased here as well through because of all the shields that AP BREN has at this moment. And once again, Lord Dance, KAZAN going to be working up, starting up this Lord. Chibi could actually just go in for the steal, but you know, this is gonna be what's hard for Homeboys here is one wipeout here. They could actually go for a straight push, and here it comes.
Yeah, you see them going in now. You saw the Daytona's welcome coming there. Chibi actually gets taken out. That's going to be the retribution for the Homeboys who are now trying to get out. Sipat taking a heap of damage. You see the flicker in. FlapTZ able to close the distance and find the kill. You see the circling eagle from Ogwen. Nets might not be long for this world from the side. Super Marco. This is going to be a wrap. That is 3 people down for the Homeboys, including their retribution. But it does look like Ogwen. Oh, they're trying to. They still want. They have the taste for blood now. They're not letting. They're not wanting to let Nets go free.
Yeah, 30 seconds before the others are up. They're gonna go for Nets. There's the circling eagle onto him. It's only Odile and Nets left to defend the base. AP BREN, they might actually just go for the push.
Yeah, they're looking for 10% left, and that's going to be a wrap, a clean sweep for the world champions, AP BREN.
Man, I actually thought that was like, you know, maybe goes a safer route, go for the Lord, but AP BREN just had another plan there. They just went in for the final kill, or actually just went in for Nets and even pressure him out there, knowing that it's only Odile and Nets there left in the base. There was only going to be the wave clear coming out from him. And with the numbers advantage that AP BREN had in that final clash, they were able to take this in and take the series with a 2-0.
Yeah, I want to say hats off to Homeboys who put in a valued effort, especially because, well, we could take a look at the stats first here. You see, unfortunately, Chibi not having the most success on the Hellcurt here. It was I want to say they kind of reached into the book. They tried to pull out something, a surprise. It didn't seem to pay off here. You can see, I mean, the value out of that Matilda Ogwen. That is exactly why she is pretty much a ban from our first few games.
Yeah, usually you see a Matilda being built up as like a tanky build, right? You see like the counter towards like an Atsikuras or maybe even Athena's shield. But Ogwen
here, AP BREN, I just a superior gameplay by them. Here, and this is it. You FlapTZ able to use that flicker, even though it was basically a 4v1 there.
Yeah, and what we don't notice here is actually the Molinas that Few has been dropping in, right? Like, you get transformed and there's really nothing much you can do. You can't escape the safety. We did see a lot of the pressure that the Homeboys actually did up against FlapTZ, knowing that it is going to be Nets really being able to create the pressure up against Super Marco on his lane. This was one of the setups that Sorn was actually able to do up against KAZAN. Owen was able to get that guiding wind to get KAZAN out to safety, but Odile was there, actually been able to dish out the damage and then take out KAZAN. FlapTZ has been doing really good too in this game. He was able to zone out a lot of the backlines, which is the reason why AP BREN was also able to engage. Having the Matilda as your roamer, right? You need someone to have that CC, you need someone to have that engage, and it was in the form of FlapTZ from the side of AP BREN.
Yeah, and a great job done by him. And you can see here, splitting up the priority. We were talking already about the Nana. This is where we were kind of bursting down those purifies, able to get the kill onto Super Marco. But after that, I mean, still having some problems. They get the Lord, but do still start losing members from Homeboys here. So it's kind of like, do you even it out? Ogwen doing such a great job there. Dark Knight falls to try to chase them down. We do land the pop-up, but again, able to turn it around. Zorn gets too deep into their FlapTZ, finds a kill. Then they start chasing down the rest of Homeboys one by one. You see Sipat and Odile here on the side, while the rest of them focusing down on Nets at the mid lane.
Yeah, this was one of the first few lore dances, right? Like where Few was able to get that very crucial pick off onto Chibi, right? Like he was trying to go in for the steal, but yes, the Molina and the Molina Blitz combo was just too much to deal with, and AP BREN just capitalized on that momentum and just went in for the pickoffs after pickoffs. And this was the one of the last ones, right? That they were able to pressure out all of the towers here from Homeboys. And this was one of the final clashes that they've had. Chibi was going to try to go in for the backlines, but yes, Pew still did have that passive, so it wasn't easy to take him down. Everybody was really low, and Few was still able to pop in that ultimate, taking down Sorn,
Yeah.
taking down Homeboys. Everybody was really low, and it was nice that AP Brand actually went in for the full commit there to actually force Homeboys back to their base.
It's almost hard to see the Molina blitz coming out there, but you can tell, especially when Homeboy's health goes from like 100% to 20% like in 1 second. That's when that Molina blitz is just basically barreling its way through the team here in one of these many clashes. And this is what we were talking about, the strength of Nana. I never thought I'd be saying that in a professional game, but she has come with a vengeance right now, and part of one of the key factors of AP BREN's success. You can see up here, Gwen, I mean, no doubts, especially on the Matilda. There's a reason why Matilda is a priority ban. And you talked about it. It's not even the tanky Matilda here, more of the aggressive damage for them, especially when it came with the Blood Wings and then the Holy Crystal out there as well. I talked about it a little bit earlier. When you have that Flask of the Oasis, every single
So
time
much
Matilda
shield.
uses the Guiding Wind, there's a shield that gets put on your team. Like, I think the Guiding Wind already gives the team a little bit of a shield. With the Flask, you've got an extra shield on there, and you really up the survivability of your team.
Yeah, not just the survivability, but even the mobility of AP Bren, right? Like you can escape all of these clashes that Homeboys is known to create. Like they love those team fights, and AP Bren with the shield that it has provided, and it kind of makes sense why Owen actually prioritized that Blood Wings right after he took in that Holy Crystal, just to add up the shields that AP Bren had, to the point that Odile even had to build that Necklace of Durance just to counter out all of the shields, all of the tankiness that AP Brand had in that game. 2-0-13. They didn't even pick